Hi, I'm Sarah Drange.
And I'm Michael Drange.
We've been attending South Hills Burbank for 7 years. When I moved to LA, I came out here to take a job as an assistant to a television producer. I took a part-time job nannying on the weekend. At the time, I was attending a church over in Wilshire, and they had talked about the importance of tithing, but I made $550 a week before taxes. I learned so much from this family about the importance of God in the home and God in the world. And one of the things that they did while I worked for them was they donated a extremely large amount of money to a church that they didn't attend in Beverly Hills to keep this church up and running. And when I talked to the mother about it, she was just talking freely about it at dinner one night. She was like, well, we're tithing. And it was like coming to me from all angles now because my church had been talking about it that I was attending at the time. There was a 90-day challenge at the church. And I thought, all right, I'll try. I'll do my best. And so $55 a week, which was before taxes, I started giving to the church. And within the 90-day challenge, my salary doubled. And then with the babysitting job on the weekend, I was able to tithe more than double what I had started. It was very clear to me at that point in time that giving God the 10% that God had given to me back showed my faith, and in turn was showing to me that I could trust that if I gave my money to God, I would be taken care of.
Before, for me, I was single, selfish, and self-centered, and just ran around with a group of friends, working on TV shows, music videos, commercials, rock shows, and we just traveled a lot, and I just did whatever I wanted. It became boring. It was all about me, and I was miserable. So it wasn't until I started to, seeking God and believing in God that I really wanted to make, a change in my life. So we do also teach our kids to be generous with their time and with our home, with everything. And we do that as well. We try to be a service to others and to live that type of life. It's something that makes me, myself, feel really good inside, is to be able to help other people that need it.
My name is Hope.
What's your name?
Mikey.
So this is the family, Mikey and Hope, and these are their jars.
Each kid has 3 jars, and they say their names on them. So Mikey Spend, Mikey Save, and this just says Give. I couldn't fit
Mikey Give.
Yeah, Mikey Give. And Hope has her own 3 as well. And so whenever they get birthday money or allowance, if they do their chores, they divide it up and they put 10% in the Give jar, and then
50% in here and 40% in the Save.
Very good, Mikey. And they take their Give jars to church and put it in the envelopes, and we keep these jars in our kitchen. It was something that we actually heard here at South Hills. We both believe you have 2 choices. You can keep the money and live in fear, or you can send it out and trust God.
And really, at the end of the day, that's really what I want. I want to have peace, I want to have usefulness, and I want happiness. And I feel like I get all 3 of those things by tithing.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Look at this. I feel so loved. And by the way, that's good. That's live. That's good. That's live. That's good. That's live, by the way. That's live. You're welcome. Watching in other states and in other countries, you're welcome for that. You guys look gorgeous. I mean, all these Hawaiians, you love it. I am so I am so much. I always kid. I don't like attention. I don't like attention. But honestly, I actually enjoy celebrating you guys more. It's more fun for me. Last week was a lot of fun celebrating Princess. So, but I do appreciate it. I am very, very moved. And what's cool is when I look around, I see like these are my best friends, and that's why I love being part of this church, because we are not just doing something on a Sunday where we go to see each other and then everybody goes their separate ways. We really do care about each other. We love each other, and we're trying to be there for each other. So thank you so much for that. I'm very, very touched and feel very loved and very moved. So thank you so much. Okay, now before we begin, I do have a Super Bowl poll that I do every year. All right. Now, who wants the Chiefs to win? All right. Okay. Let's win. Okay. All right. This one usually wins. Who could care less? All right. That usually wins. That actually wins that wins the most. I am so torn on this. I am so torn. Because if I have to see Taylor Swift one more time, I'm going to go crazy. Like, isn't she already on everything else? Why does she have to ruin my game? And so I can't handle that. I can't. And actually, I told about the it's like boo. It's like boo. Like boo. Oh my god. All right. So I don't like that about the Chiefs. However, as a lifelong Los Angeles Rams fan, it is in our creed that we cannot root for the 49ers under any circumstance. So I just don't know what I'm going to do. So I don't know. Maybe like I'm going to be rooting for the refs or something. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Good. Okay. Well, in this series, we are talking about the opposite of something very, 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 very clear. Honestly, to me, it's a little cringy. It's like, just tell me what you want. Like, why are we going through this whole like maze? This isn't about that, guys. It's about talking about something that is normally taboo to talk about. And just think about it in your own family. Gotten in your family just because of this one topic. Certainly, we should talk about it in church. Figure out what it looks like. Now, this is more of a lighthearted example, but it kind of reminded me of a lot of disagreements we get when we talk about money. I want you to check this out. It's a little grainy, but check it out.
$250 a head means for the four of us to attend this wedding in our own home will cost $1,000. Therefore, we are not getting up from this table until we cut this list down to the bare minimum. Now, invite as many people as you want to the church. Pack them in. Build a grandstand if you want, but we are not having more than 150 people in this house on the day of the wedding. All right, let's start.
Okay.
I've known the guy for 20 years.
You haven't seen him in 15, George.
All right, I'll say I lost his address. Now here's somebody, your cousin Betsy, the poet, waitress, picture framer.
We can't cut family. They know about...
$250 you can see Cameron after the wedding. All right, very good. 5 down. We're rolling.
All right, what about Harry Kirby? We haven't seen him in ages.
I don't know.
Didn't Harry Kirby die last year?
Yes! Good! Sorry.
Who's Frank Egelhofer?
What?
He's coordinating the wedding, and then we're not going to invite him?
Exactly. You think I'm going to pay a guy 15% plus an additional $5? Have you lost your mind?
Can I put Ken back on the list if he promises not to eat?
You know, that's not a bad idea. Who else can we ask not to eat? My parents, your mother.
Why don't we just charge people? That way we can make money on the... Annie...
Got some times where it gets a little tense. So we're talking about money, we're talking about finances, and it gets a little tense. And guys, honestly, this is a lighthearted way. By the way, if there is a side to this, I do see the dad's point on that. As a dad now, I'm just like, he's got a good point. Let's cut that down. But this is something that happens in all of our families, you guys. This is something that we can't avoid. That's why we have to talk about it to figure out, what does the Bible say? What does God actually say? Is it say you're supposed to tithe? Did Jesus literally say that? What does that even look like? What are we talking about? Guys, this is the reason why we're talking about this today. Because it is literally tearing up our families. Now, right now in America, 20 to 40% of divorces are accumulated because, people are getting divorced because they say of financial issues. That is, let's say four of them end simply by alone. That we've got. Like, what does the Bible say about it? Now, I think a lot of times what happens is that when we really want something, we put it in the need bucket. Okay, now listen, let's call the elephant in the room. You need money. You need it. So it's not the bad. You have a sad. What do we do with that? And are we actually putting it in the need or in the want? And it's very, very skewed right now. And let me give you an example. There was a term that, does anybody remember Parks and Recreations, that show? Yeah. There's a term that called treat yourself, all right? I love that. And because if you ever talk to somebody like a coworker or something like that, and they're like going to go do something, you got to treat yourself. You know, like, I'm going to go get a massage, or I'm going to go to whatever for the weekend. I'm going to go get this outfit I wanted. Guys, there is nothing wrong with this, by the way. I want to say this as clear as I can in church. There is nothing wrong with treating yourself. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think that you should do that because it's nice to actually reward yourself. Guys, don't have aligning your values with God's. It could easily get out of hand. Treating yourself one time can get to a big problem. Now, here's what I'm saying. Let's say, for example, you have $50 and you go to the mall and you're walking by the mall and you see a sales sign and it says, we're going to give you $50 back. What? God bless the United States of America. How you spend $175, we'll give you $50. This is a great deal, right? The problem is I don't have the 175. But it doesn't matter because now I'm already hooked in. Now I've got to have it. About how do you avoid that, and how do we determine our wants and our needs? And here's a question that's very important. Here's a statement that's important. When we become convinced that your wants are really needs, even more will only feel like never enough. And here's what I'm saying, guys. Your needs do. I'm good. If I need clothes and I get them, my needs are fulfilled. But wants don't go down. Your wants stay wants. Once you get the thing you wanted, you're going to still want something else. And that's where that's where you get into some dangerous territory there, okay? Okay, so now, here's the deal. Right now in our country, we do not understand how this works. Everything's a want. Everything. I want it, so give it to me. This is what I want. Go away. You just never will. You'll just keep acquiring. Guys, culture is counting on you to do this. They want you to keep acquiring. They want you to do that. They want us to do that, right? Because if you keep acquiring, then you'll keep, buying from me. So you need that. That phone's old. That car's old. You need more of whatever. And it's gonna keep that Pastor James is an expert on this. I would love so bad. When I was preparing for this message, I was like, I wish I could tell, but I'm not. Something clearly I've struggled. I'm a collector. I collect. It looks like Hawaii threw up in my closet. I have like 1 million Hawaiian shirts, right? I collect a lot of things. I'm not an expert in this. I'm not. And I've been truly convicted when I was preparing for this. I'm like, there are some areas in my life that I've got to look at a little bit more seriously. But one thing that Melanie and I did that did work for us was when we first got our house, we have a 2-car garage. And we said to each other, if we ever can get to the point where we can't park both cars in the garage, then we've accumulated too much stuff. You just have too much stuff. Guys, we can still, after 10 years of living there, still park both cars in our garage. We are a minority and I think we're the only ones maybe that do that. So it is, because if you look around everybody's garage, it's filled with stuff that was supposed to have been super important, stuff that I really needed. And accumulate. And guys, when we have purged before, it has felt so good just to get rid of just a bunch of stuff, just to let it go. And so, but all that stuff is at one point seemed super duper important. So we need to know, what are the limits and which ones how do you determine it? There's a lot of conversation about this in the Testament, but Paul writes this or says this in 1 Timothy 6. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. I don't know about you guys, but when I read that, I'm like, that sounds boring. Let's be honest. So if I just have like one outfit and bread and water, I'm supposed to be content with that. No, like that. I want to live exciting. I want to go do some exciting, fun things. And by everything around there, they should be content, right? But they're not. Just watch. Like real lives of whatever county, do they seem super happy and content to you? They're accumulating, and they're miserable. And viewers are counting on them being miserable and fighting with each other. And that's clearly not the answer. But when you look at the life of Jesus, he could care less about that stuff. Could care less. And nobody packed in as much life as Jesus gave forever. He said ministry only lasted about three, only for Paul physically for about 33 years. And nobody had an exciting life like him. You can say, that's just little. They could care less about stuff, and they have the most exciting life you imagine, guys. The most fulfilled life you could imagine. I mean, think about this for a second, guys. I mean, they literally were able to see and do things that we could only just be awe about. And they stuff that everybody else cared about. If you have not seen the show The Chosen, I would encourage you to go see it. I love Chosen as pure doctrine. It is Bible based, but the writers and the directors are taking some liberties with this is what we think in scripture. But it's really cool. When you first see him, he's actually just hanging out with kids, and they were kind of silly noises with his mouth, laughing, just showing the character of who Jesus is, just this loving, all-encompassed, loving, kind person. But the other thing that it shows, guys, and this is true for Scripture, Jesus loved parties. He loved laughing. It's not like he just had one outfit, bread and water, and he just went from town to town and telling people to not be bad and be good. And he enjoyed life. He had fun. He liked parties. Jesus liked to party. First miracle was turning water into wine. Who doesn't want to invite Jesus at your party? You know how much he was fun. He enjoyed life. So this is that I have. It's not saying that at all. It's saying there's another way to live. Okay. Now we are to define what we need, but that's the necessity. In other words, I don't need that, but my neighbor just went to Paris, and I've got enough. My neighbor Tesla. Now I got to figure out a way that I'm supposed to do that. Or I don't need this, but my neighbor who had the condo now has a house. Now we have to have the pressure to get it. It's like we don't look at our needs anymore. We look at what does everybody have, because that's the marker I've got to hit, and that's where we got to be careful. 1 Timothy 6:9 says this: Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin. Desperately. The love is the root of all kinds of evil. All the time. Christians have gotten this wrong all the time. The love of money. Love of money. That is the root of all kinds of. That's what it's saying. You could do a lot of great things with money. It's the root of all kinds of things is the love of money. Themselves with many griefs. Now, I know people that have said, I want God to bless my finances. I'm tired of not being behind every month. I'm tired of stressing about money. God, won't you bless me with my finances? Well, are you trusting him with your money? Are you tithing? Are you doing that? No, I don't have enough money right now. Well, then why do you expect him to bless something you're not trusting him with? If you want God to bless you, he will. But what are you going to trust him with? God, bless my marriage. Are you trusting him with it? Not really. God, bless my finances. Are you trusting with him? Not really. What do you want God to bless? Then trust him with it. For me, again, this is just me. When I tithe, it's the first thing that comes out of my check. And it's not because I'm such a great Christian, but it's a practice that I've learned that takes the onus off of what I want. It hits me good. I mean, that money I could be doing things with. And it takes the attention off me, and it goes back to gratitude to God. That's how it works for me. Now, what this passage is saying is about the love of money is when you do this, when you love money, it's going to make you feel trapped. Have you ever been trapped from what you owe? Have you ever lost any sleep from some bills that you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this. I want a new car. I need to get a new house. It's whatever. I don't know how we're going to do this. I'm feeling trapped by this. What if somebody were to come to you and say, listen, I'm going to pay this is great. I owe nothing. That's what God is trying to do. I want you to have that freedom. I've already died for your sins, so your sins are already covered, but I want you to live free and not be indebted to all these dark places. Have any one of you had a job that you hate, and I mean hate, but you go to every day stuff that you owe? I mean honestly, there have been jobs that stand. Oh my gosh, I'll take it. I'll take it back because I owe these people. And so we're actually trying to hold on to a job we hate to pay for stuff we don't care about anymore. And that's kind of like a big weird cycle that happens, okay? And that's where we're in this. Proverbs 25:28. Like a city through is a person is going to be overwhelmed, overrun, and taken advantage of at any time. Guys, there are people in this world that have done things they never thought they would do in a million years to themselves, to their bodies, simply for money. Degraded themselves, done things that they went to some pretty dark places just for money. God's like, I didn't die on the cross for you to be enslaved like that. That's not the life I have for you. Proverbs 21:5 says, this is the one that hit me the hardest, you guys. I don't know which one's going to hit you, but this one hit me the hardest. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Haste leads to poverty. The reason it's underlined is because that's what I needed to hear. I could be very impulsive. Hey, that looks fun. Let's go do it. How much is it? I don't know. Let's go try it though. That's kind of me, right? I'm an impulsive, let's just do it. And that is something, not only me, but I think our culture needs to hear. Because we're in such a hurry to get everything we want right now. That one hit me between the eyes. I had to take a step back from when I was writing, and I'd go, God, I know you're talking to me. I could feel you're saying, look in the mirror, James. This isn't something I want you to tell everybody. This is something I'm going to put a mirror in front of you and say, you need to look at yourself on this. This is the one that gets me a lot, okay? Now, a lot of times when we hear the word prosperity, what we think is, if I trust God with my money or tithing or whatever that is, then I'll get blessed with even more, right? That's how it works. It's not just about money, guys. It's talking holistically, financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It's when you start to trust God more, you can notice a change in everything that you do. Now, what does God say about this? What does Jesus say? For Luke 14:28 says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete? Or if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you. Now, what this is saying is, if you're a contractor, you'll know that if you give people a bid, and you say this is how much, and what most people do is say, oh, okay, my house that's going to give me shelter and everything that I need costs that. I have that. Great. Okay, but I want this upgrade, and I want this upgrade, and I want this upgrade. And well, that's not in the budget. I don't care. I want all those upgrades. And your needs now, it's something that's like a fucking around when you didn't need to do it in the first place. So what you're doing is you need to make a plan for exercise. For our money is how we pick priorities and practice patience. Now there's a term for it. Buddy. I mean, it's like the least thing people, unless you're a CPA and you're like, ooh, this is getting interesting. Other than you, nobody likes talking about. All right, hello? Are we on? Thank you. Okay. Like we talked about last week, guys, we are setting up future generations that honestly, they just have no value of it. It's the truth. I mean, they just really, really don't. Right now, the generations that we're seeing, I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about them right now. They're like, well, those kids, what are you talking about? They want their student loan for, I had to work 2 jobs. Talking about get really angry, and these millennials don't know what they're doing. Guys, who is people? Mirror. Okay, we're the ones that are setting them up to think this way, and they do think this way. This generation believes, and I'm not putting them down, but this is what they believe. If I want it, you should give it to me because that. And it gives a lot of problems. If it is, guys, is that we set this up a long time ago. Why? Because money is taboo to talk about. We don't talk about money. It's about second. And this is something that I really had to think hard about. What is it are we leaving our kids? What is it? Because a lot of us are thinking, I'm leaving them all my. Leave our kids, guys. If we leave our kids money, we're not going to leave them with much. If you don't have the values right, that's gone. I know people that can spend it real quick. Okay, I just want them to be happy. Okay, well, what if when I go, I want my kids to be happy. Unless you give them, the next generation, the values that God talks about. This isn't a religious thing. This is something that God set up in the beginning with much more than just money that's going to be spent or where moms could eat and all that other stuff. It's not, you're not leaving them with much. And think, wow, look at what I'm leaving them. But guys, that's going to go fast. They've got to be left with. We got to make sure what we're leaving them is going to last, not just this lifetime, but the next. And we got to set up those future generations to not be as maybe some of us where we're doing jobs we hated. I don't want Piper and Phoebe to go to a job that they hate every day. Have a different life. But that starts with Melanie and I. We've got to align there. very awesome about this, and it's called the three-jar system. I'm sure maybe some of you have heard of it. But the three-jar system is something I like for all of us to do, me included, and it's give, save, spend. If you live your life, give, save, spend, you're going to understand what God thinks about this. Now, the reason we give first is if we're organizing our money according to our values, one of the top priorities is to be generous people. Okay, to do in 2 Corinthians 9:11, it says, "You will be in every place that you marry, and through generosity will result in thanksgiving to God." Now, what this verse is saying is, you can't be generous on every occasion if you've already spent all of your money on yourself. Okay? It's saying you got to be generous on every occasion. And guys, by the way, I'm not just talking about money giving back to the church. This is way bigger than that. That's why I'm trying to say this is not about you. It's about a different way to live. It's about a different way to live, guys. Different way to live, guys. Because here's the thing. Yes, when you get whatever you get, it's all of it is from God. Everything's, well, I technically did that deal. No. You're not getting it. God woke you up in the morning. God gave you the skills. God put you in those circumstances. 100% of it is his. And when you give some back, you go, I'm acknowledging that. But it's not just that. It's also living a generous life with whoever you're around. Guys, I have had some of the best talks with people that have been hurting by just taking on. That's what it on me. You're having a tough time right now. Let me take you out for a while. And I had some of the best conversations with people just taking them out. You know, I remember my buddy was going through some really bad marital issues one time, and I go, man, do you need a cheeseburger? He's like, I'd rather have a beer. I'm like, I'll go. We'll take you. I'm driving, but I'll take you wherever. But I'm just going to hang out and be there with you. And we had some of the best conversations about God in that time we were hanging out. It's saying just be generous on every occasion. A lot of churches will use this to say, be generous on every occasion. That means living a life of generosity. That's what it looks like. That's where we have. It's a holistic look at that. I've for the future gratification, and we don't want to save, right? I'm just like, I want that right now, and this card will give it to me, right? So it doesn't look like that. But think about this for a second, right? When you think of like the generation during the Great Depression, that was not thousands of years ago. That was not even hundreds of years ago, and it wasn't even 100 years ago. But I remember if you have any family members that lived through the Great Depression, they will show you what it looks like to save. I remember Mark and Vic, our Grandpa Victor, the kindest. She had seven kids. She hated what she did, but she took care of all kids. And when you go back, but when you go back in his garage, there's cans. So screw 3 pots. It was a yard version of Home Depot, right? And it's like I would pick up these coffee cans, and I'm like, Grandpa, this is old. Well, can you just go get some new screws? Because that's good, it works. Why would I buy something? It's only like 20 cents. Why would I do that? It works. If it works, it's fine. What's the problem? And guys, by the way, when they passed, they owned everything, and they were able to give a little bit to their family, and they lived a good life. They had a great life. That house, my grandmother played the piano. If when Mark's up here, and we all know Mark's funny. Mark makes me nervous when he's here because it's live on the first one, and I don't know what he's going to say sometimes. But like so much love and fun, but they knew. Now think about this for a second. How do we go from the Great Depression generation that saved everything to now their average family debt is over $20,000? The average $221. That is the average right now in America. How did we go there? Because we don't talk about it. I certainly don't want to talk about money in church because the pastor needs me to give more money. We don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, so we don't talk about it. And guys, that's exactly why we're talking about it. The favorite one. But before rent and electricity, car, whatever, and then move to or maybe going out to dinner once in a while. And then the third is just streaming services, maybe some getaways, some upgrades. See that? So if you do this, guys, if you give, you save, and you spend, I could promise you guys this is going to make a whole lot more sense to you. If this doesn't make any sense to you, it's because we're not really living according to that. It's kind of like we kind of put our own thing. I'm trying to get us to look at generosity. Guys, this is something that is so interesting to me because the Bible is very clear on this. God Almighty, God of everything, literally said, I want you to test me. Have you ever told this to your but maybe it's the other way around. We're there's a way that like I am so confident. Test me, try me. Our Father, God our Father says, I want you to test me in this. Malachi 3:10 says, that there may be food in my house. Test me, Lord. So much blessing that there will not be. It doesn't even just say monetary blessing. It's just I'm going to bless you entirely, but trust me with it. You're not trusting me with it. You're holding on to it so tight, and you're like, I just can't do it. I did the numbers a couple times, and I just don't see it working. So no, I'm not going to trust you. God's like, I've got this for you. Trust me. Watch what I do. Look at what happens. Okay, just. Everything you got's from me anyway, but just trust me with it, okay? Now, here's the thing, guys. You got to keep the main thing right according to what you've saying. Well, how much should I put in the jars then? What does that look like? Guys, this is going to look very different for a lot of people, and I want to make something clear. Tithe, what we do in church, is not New Testament. Okay? This is something that and so a lot of Christians. So that's tithe, right? That's the Old Testament. I go with the New Testament. I follow Jesus. Sorry, buddy, but that's the Old Testament stuff. So what does Jesus have to say? Jesus says, sell everything. Pretty good. That's not be so bad. Okay, I can see myself doing that. The church has always done this, guys. I mean, that's how ministry is run. It's always been run by giving. In fact, Jesus was actually referring to somebody when he was sitting by, and it was making a lot of noise in the collection. Jesus points out what he had. He said, once again showing that it's not a percentage. So that's up to you guys. Not between you and God. This is just trying to get us to align with God. You've been going to church and challenged with this. Or you go, wow, this is some ploy to, the church are talking about money again, guys, whatever. Now, guys, here's the deal. In my life, I've seen differences in God and I have seen them lose bad business. I have seen them lose bad business deals. I have seen them lose a lot of money. I have seen them lose their house. But I have never seen anybody who trusts God with their finances regret it, ever. And because there's a reason for that. He's saying, if you trust me, I will involve your kids on the journey. This is what I'm going to do with my family. My family, we give the girls we take care of the girls. Obviously, money I'll pay them. Second, the other, I'm going to share that. So Melanie pays them, I think it was $10 to wash your car. $5 to wash your car. It's now $10, no joke, because they went on strike. This is true. They actually, I have the picture in my phone. I should have put it up here, but they literally went on strike for $10, and I was a little proud of them, to be honest. I was like, that's pretty cool. I was trying to be serious, but anyways, so now they get $10. But here's the deal. We're going to do the 3-jar method with them. So when they earn that money, not just give it to them, but when they earn that money, they're going to understand what it looks like now to give back, give, save, and spend. Guys, I don't want just money. If that's all I leave them, you can go away from the whole thing gone. I want to leave them with something so much more. The values that God is saying, this is how you do this. Now, learning how to do something isn't just a matter of knowing, but kids get just the fact. You try to talk to them. If they don't see you doing it, why would they do it? One of the reasons that it made Vic and I do, and honestly, but one of the that he's taught me a lot in my life. And one of them was he's never doubted God. 23 years old, he gets hit with rheumatoid arthritis. The following year, he can't get out of bed. And before he even started making any real money, he was tithing. And I was like, why are you doing that? Okay. It's so foreign, but if you're not leaving that example, it's going to be like, why would I do this? There is something that I want to do this. It's called a 90 day challenge. I am very excited about this one in particular because, and I'll explain to you later. But I want us all to really just jump right on. And honestly, normally I say just give it some time, but I want us to really think about this today. There's a quick story I want to show you, then I'm going to talk about it. Check this out.
Hi, Drange.
And I'm Michael Drange.
We've been attending South Hills Burbank for 7 years. When I moved to LA, I came out here to take a job as an assistant to a television producer. I took a part-time job nannying on the weekend. At the time I was a church. They had talked about learned the importance of God in the home and God in the world. And one of the things that they did while I worked for them was they donated a extremely large amount of money to a church that they didn't attend in Beverly Hills to keep this church up and running. And when I talked to the mother about it, she was just talking freely about it at dinner one night. She was like, well, we're tithing. And it was like coming to me from all angles now because my church had been talking about it that I was attending at the time. There was a 90-day challenge. My best. And so 55 before taxes, I started giving to the church. And within the 90-day challenge, my salary doubled. And then with the babysitting job on the weekend, I was able to tithe more than double what I had started. It was very clear to me at that point in time that giving God the 10% that God had given to me back showed my faith, and in turn was showing to me that
For me, I was centered and just ran around with a group of friends. TV, music videos, commercials, rock shows, and we just traveled a lot, and I just did whatever I wanted. It became boring. It was all about me, and I was miserable. So it wasn't until I started to make a change in my life. So we do also teach our kids to be generous with their time and with our home, with everything, and we do that as well. We try to be a servant. It's something that makes me myself feel really good inside, is to be able to help other people that need it.
My name is
What's your name? Mikey. Stars.
Each kid had and Mikey spend. Mikey give and hope has her own 3 as well. And so whenever they get birthday money or allowance, if they do their chores, they divide it up and they put 10% in the gift jar and then
50% in here and 40% in the safe.
very good, Mikey. And they take their gift jars to church and put it in the We actually heard here. We both believe you have 2 choices. You can keep the money and live in fear, or you can send it out and trust God.
And really, at the end of the day, that's really what I want. I want to have peace. I have
That's so cool. It was so neat when I got my end of year giving report. Oh, I didn't know this, but I got one for Piper and Phoebe as well. And I was like, and I asked them about it, and they said, yeah, it was. And guys, it had nothing to do with it. Everything to do with that's how they are going to grow up. A lot more. I would not lead you down a wrong path. I would not try to intentionally try to get more. I wouldn't do it. I already tithe. But I'm going to stretch myself. I'm going to sign that up on that 90-day challenge, and I'm going to see what it looks like to really trust God even more with that. I want to encourage you guys. One thing right now is to want you to know, and everybody watching online, if you're enjoying this message or if you're enjoying what we're doing, we are doing it because there is a group of people in this church that actually live this out. What I don't want to do is I don't want to rely on the generosity of just these people to supply the needs for all of us that are enjoying what God's doing here. I want us all to live this life, and if I'm tithing. My life to be enriched in every way. Guys, we're leaving this up, and I'm going to tell you right now, I was so touched a couple weeks ago when I said we need people to sign up with kids and get live scan. There was a line of people I was talking to him last week. If we really believe this stuff, then we can. And he completely agreed. And here's what we're so convinced that if we are what it could do to just our, especially as we get ready to move, what it could do to our church. That I'm telling you this right now, and he firmly believes this too, and he believes this. Try this. Sign up today for 90 days. Okay. By the way, we're not creditors, so we're not going to call you and say, "Hey, you signed us up, and where is the money?" Okay. Now, 3%, 2%, 1%, whatever. Like just whatever you feel like is going to stretch you, and that can look different for everybody. That's between you and God. But just sign up for 90 days, and I'm going to try this, guys. Listen to me. 90 days. Let me know. I will contact Sonia at our Central Support Finance team. I will cut a check for whatever you gave for 6 months and say, here you go. It's back to you. You're not going to regret that. There's literally nothing to lose. Moses is like, go for it, man. I love it. I love the boldness. Let's do it. We're on. He already believed that before. So listen. Sign up today for this. I want to see what God does in this church in 6 months. I want to see what it looks like if our church does this. Sign up today, challenge yourself, really try that, keep me updated, and I want to know what this is going to look like in your life. And so instead of having to fill out something right there, if you don't want to do that, just go get the link on your phone and make sure that we do this. I want to see our entire church at least try Even if you don't give anything in the 90 days, but you at least signed up today, at least I know, at least they're taking a step, and that's a step. That's cool. So just is not different. You guys. It's not. Check and give it back to you. Check and give it back to you. Give it back to you. Guys, I'm going to end with this, and this is what I sold our condo, and we're looking to buy a house. And we had the money from the condo, and we're like, okay, we got to find a friend of Melanie's told her, you need to be scared. Ask God for anything. She's looking for anything. She's like, okay, I'm going to go for the gold. So she wrote down 3 things on a piece of paper. She said, God bless me with a driveway, a bathtub, and a fireplace. That was her 3 things. Remember that? It was getting to the last week before we had to find something else to live. And if we didn't have anywhere else to live, we're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to maybe look for renting or something like that. We were really you should go look at it. It's a house that our realtor did not show us. So Melanie goes, okay, and I'll go look at it. She went to look at it. She came back. She goes, James, I just saw our dream house. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah. Really? She goes, yeah. So then I go, well, I'm going to go look at it. Guys. And when I saw the first one, take this one. I like this one. And they're like, you need to go upstairs because you haven't seen the house. This is it. That's fine. She's like, no, you really need to see it. So we that's our dream house. It's everything we ever wanted. What we qualified for. That's $25,000 qualified for. Okay, not $2,000 or $25,000 out of what we qualified for. And we're like, well, we're going to trust God. And I remember one of my friends was teasing me, and he said, well, you always talk about tithing. Had you not tithed, you would have had 25 grand. I'm like, I don't think you understand how much I make. I would not have had $25,000, by the way. I don't make that at all. Not even near that. So I was like, I kind of laughed it off. Guys, the next day, our realtor came to me and said, hey, the family that lives there recognized you. Their parents serve at your church, and you've really helped them in their lives. And they said that they visited Christmas and your family. They told me, what can they afford? I told them. They looked at each other and they said, then go ahead and drop the price $25,000 and sell it to them. Wow. Guys, God did not increase my salary 1 penny. Not one. That's why I'm so excited about this. I've seen this work. I've seen what it looks like to trust him. And he goes, I know what the desires of your heart, but you're not trusting me. Stop being so scared. Stop living in fear of this thing and just step in what this is still line. How many people in county just drop their price 25 grand? There we go. It ain't happening in South Orange County. Sorry. This is an example. Sign up for this. And I want us all to do this together. It's coming at the right time for our church, guys. I want our church to really stretch ourselves as we move into this new journey. Father God, I just thank you so much for just this family, God. I thank you so much for bringing these people in today. God, you love them so much. I don't want you to live in fear. I don't want you to be afraid of what's going to happen. I want you to fully trust me. I want you to see what I can do. Recognizing that everything that we have is from you. And I think for me personally, God, I pray that I can live this out. This 3-jar method, this 90-day challenge, God. I pray that you're with me as well as I take another step forward in trusting you. And Father, I can't wait to see what you're going to do in this church. As our church says, with one voice, we're trusting you, and we're gonna live a little bit different. See what you do. Stories that are going to come out of the next 3 months are going to be amazing. And I'm thanking you in advance for it. I love these people so much, Jesus. I love them so much. And it's all because in your name. Amen. It's all because in your name. Amen. In your name. Amen.
South Hills Church, I just want to take a moment and say thank you for watching our service online. Whether you're watching it for the first time or you're watching it again because you enjoyed the service so much from the weekend, I'd like to take a moment and dive into our giving. Every week we give people the opportunity to give back and give to the local church so that God can continue to bless your lives and bless your finances. Here at South Hills, we believe that everything comes from God. We believe that He's the one that chose us and brought us into this world, gave us our gifts and talents and abilities. And I just want you to know that when we give, we are giving back what God has already given to us. If you've ever seen any of our envelopes at a South Hills campus, you'll see on there that it says, every week at South Hills, your generosity is giving people the opportunity to live a better story. And there's a scripture on there in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 that says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So I want to encourage you today to click down below and set up your giving, whether it's for the first time or whether you're doing reoccurring giving. We have 4 ways to give here at South Hills. 1, you can do it in person at any of our campuses through an envelope. Or 2, you can actually text any amount that you would like to 84321. And the 3rd way is to download our Church Center app. I encourage you to do this one because the Church Center app gives you opportunity to stay connected with our church and your campuses. It's a great tool and resource for you to know what's going on. And the 4th way to give is to give online. You can go to southhills.org/give and you can set up your giving there. Whether you're a guest of our church or whether you are a member of our church, or whether you simply just like to watch our services, I encourage you to trust God with your finances so that He can bless and anoint your finances, and you can be trusting God in this journey of living life to the fullest. I love you, and thank you for watching our online service today.